Hi. Today I'm going to answer some questions that I promised yesterday because I don't like to go through a whole video and what did she say? What did it mean? So, I talked about Nietzsche, and he was a philosopher, and he lived from 1815 to 1850 or 44 to August 1900, and was life affirmation, the idea of embracing. I don't know the end of that sentence. I'll figure it out. But he announced the death of God, and people just took it on its face. But let me tell you the rest, because that's probably all you've heard and you didn't know Nietzsche said it. The death of God, his famous declaration that society no longer needed a Christian God. So do you hear that? It's Christian God, okay? But yeah, like all that gets remembered about him, even if it's not his name, is, God is dead. Somewhere in his interviews or writings, he said that. But Jordan B. Peterson and I think he wondered if without God, individuals could make their moral compass. Like, could individuals say what's wrong or right? Okay, so Dr. Amen, who I've spent a lot of time talking about his book, The End of Mental Illness, and I just said yesterday, I want to make sure how popular his ideas are. And Dr. Amen's central tenet or belief is that most psychiatric problems are not mental health issues, they're brain issues. And he goes on to four pillars, which I've said before: biology, psychology, social, and spiritual. So, I'll give you a quick thing to go with that. So, biology, he wants to take a picture of your brain, and he has over 15,000 scans, and he helps the football players design the new helmets because he sees how the brain gets damaged. Then psychology, he's not saying there's anything wrong with psychology, but he's purporting a holistic agenda. And what that means, some people believe in holistic doctors. They're not the same as MDs, okay? They look at diet and sleep and all, but we've been saying already with psychiatrists and psychologists all along, they're already saying diet and sleep and darker vegetables and fruits and not too much caffeine and not too much sugar, okay? So then I'm glad I read this because this elucidates, it makes it available for me to see social circles and relationships and environment and work. So how do you deal with people? How do you have your environment affect you? And how are you at work? Because it can be things come out at work, brain issues that could be handled in ways that he purports, way that he agree with. So what I bring you of him is what I think you could understand and what small things that I'm in agreement with him. Okay, I'm not going to read you the whole book, but the title was catchy, The End of Mental Illness. Okay, and the last thing is spiritual meaning and purpose in life. So when he says that, he doesn't mean you need to have a religion. He is saying you need to be spiritual in that you're searching for a meaning for your life, a purpose for your life. And I'd say like the majority of us are all already doing that. But if you're a person that's not doing that, it's something you might want to look into. So I bought this. It's Be Kind to Your Mind. I'm going to keep the notes that I have to research in there. So Jordan B. Peterson's Beyond Order, 12 More Rules for Life. I'm going to call Rule 1 Rule 13, but I couldn't find his first book, so I'm just going to give you the title and what I think of just the title. Give me uno momento, por favor. Okay. His first rule, or 13th rule, is do not carelessly denigrate, which is a big word for put down, social institutions or creative achievement. I think I'm going to reread that chapter and maybe reread this whole book because he's one of my favorite psychologists. He taught at Harvard. He taught at University of Toronto. He is starting an online college already called Peterson Academy. It says academy, but it's a college. And he's been ill, which makes me sad, even though I've never met him. But I think he's really intelligent. Like, I would say genius IQ. And that doesn't have to be to consider what somebody says. Somebody with other IQs can come to, this is probably not the right word, to fruition, to the solid idea of something that is totally true. You don't have to be a genius, okay? I feel he is. I know another genius that I follow, but even geniuses can make mistakes, even with the greatest IQ. So, it's a long video. I'm going to try to get back on track to make the shorts because they get more views. Have a snappy day. Bye.